Hi everyone, it's me, Ritik. I was a fan of neoconservative writer Ben Shapiro for about a week upon finding out that he disliked Milo and Trump's provocateur's performance-style bigotry and was opposed to Trump because of the latter's complete inability to run our country. I also found out that he was a massive target of anti-Semitism because of the alt-right, and as an ally to all minorities, including Jews, I felt a vague sympathy for the dude. I agreed with some of the things he said, namely his policies on gun control and whatnot, and I thought for a while I'd finally found someone on the Republican side that wasn't part of, say, the Tuesday group or a neocon moderate that I actually liked. That was until I realized he's a bloody moron, and he doesn't get the criticism he deserves. Let's talk, in this episode, about his ethnic cleansing and genocidal beliefs. Now, Shapiro is a Jew and a Zionist. The former is okay with me. And the latter is also okay with me because I'm indeed neutral on the Israel issue, but I sometimes lean towards Palestine. Without making this a Zionist issue, can we just agree on one thing? Terrorists suck. Whether they're Arab or Jewish, they suck. Not trying to be indecisively centrist, but it's basically like all politics. It's hard to have a definitive opinion on something unless you've been there, and I haven't been there. Israel and Palestine is probably the biggest moral dilemma in the world. It's like getting your finger stuck in a tube. Do you try and pull it out and it really hurts, or leave it in and it's slowly damaging your finger and turning it purple? But I'm always going to retain my position that terrorism, whether Jewish or Muslim, is always bad. Not to Ben Shapiro. To Ben Shapiro, everything Jews do is corrupt and everything the Arabs do is wrong. Now remember, Ben Shapiro isn't racist. He said this in the past. He said he's not a racist and he doesn't espouse racist behavior. He's even actually admitted that race is a social construct, which is funny because most people on the right refuse to understand nor admit that concept. Any mention of the fact that there are no clear biological categorizations for race and that it's dumb to group them together so arbitrarily is immediately met with contention that more or less proves that if such a classification is ever made, then it's going to be defined by the people that are going to use it as a tool for oppression. But really, kudos, nice job Ben, for understanding that biologically, race isn't really a thing. But for some reason he made this article, more or less arguing for the ethnic cleansing of Israel and Palestine. Now let me get this clear, I totally support the reclamation of Jewish land, no doubt. But I don't know how it can be carried out in theory and how viable the two-state solution is, and it doesn't seem to be working. Until then, all I can do is wag my finger at bad things on individual perspectives. Now this article was written in 2003 when Ben was 19, so only slightly older than me. I don't know if he has such silly beliefs 15 years later, but knowing him, I wouldn't even be surprised. In this article, he essentially proposes that all Palestinians ought to be forcefully removed from Palestine, and he himself claims the following: that Palestinians and their ideology are indistinguishable from both the terrorists and the general population. Therefore, he supports the transfer of all ethnic Arabs from their current home. He backs this up with the phrase, "It's not Hitler, it's Churchill." I'm not going to stoop to the anti-Zionist levels that some do by praising Hitler, some regressives do, but as for the Churchill thing, but what the hell? Churchill killed 2.1 million Indians with the Bengal famine directly. Of course, the British murdered about 30 million Indians, which is 3 times the amount of the Holocaust in the century or so preceding it. But you don't hear about that, and I doubt that the Eurocentrically minded Shapiro would have either. And maybe base conservative Jew would have known that Churchill actually put fleeing Jews into internment camps when they were trying to get into Palestine and Britain, but he's more or less an Uncle Tom. Anyways, continuing on, Shapiro somehow thinks, because Arabs annoy him, that it's somehow viable to transport all 4.5 million of them into foreign countries. It's not like there's any room in the whole Arab world for those Palestinian Arabs to live in. It's just that the other Arab leaders don't want to cooperate. Apparently it's nothing to do with the fact that it's incredibly unviable to deport these people, but it's because other Arab leaders don't want to deal with them. Yes, apparently the same Arab nations that are pissed off at what you're doing to Palestine when they could easily not care about the Palestinians and say, it's not our land, it's not our problems, are the ones that have sympathy for the Palestinians to be taking them in. They hate the Jews because of Israel, otherwise Arabs have very few reasons to be hostile. They're not really looking for a reason. Of course, he also says that the ideology of the Palestinian population and the Palestinian terrorists were absolutely indistinguishable, a claim that I think is hard to support without some concrete evidence, of which Ben has none, like always. Now, as a supposed believer in the theory that facts don't care about feelings, I wonder what Ben has to say about the fact that relocating Arabs won't somehow end the bloody conflict that he is so against, but rather just add to it. It's like Richard Spencer's calling to kick colored people out of their own homelands. You're not going to be able to do it peacefully or rationally in any other way that isn't going to make you look like a proto-Nazi. Now, our intellectual Ben Shapiro is a believer in the superiority of white Christian culture, whatever that means. To me, it means homophobia, misogyny, intolerance towards other people's understandings of the world and the like. Social liberalism, i.e. the concept of equal rights, is by definition opposed to what you'd call westernization. Westernization isn't social liberalism, it's just the spreading of Western values in an attempt to displace foreign cultural values. Now, being a proponent of Western cultural superiority is one thing, it's just plain stupid, not really offensive. Obviously, all cultures had barbaric practices, but social liberalism is what advocates leaving that. India had a decently liberal for the time culture before colonization, and the new generation, if you look at the past. I can get onto that another time. Cultural superiority is stupid. Racial superiority is, well, believe it or not, racist, and of course, Ben is a proponent of that. Actual quote from Shapiro. Israelis like to build. Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. Of course, Ben doesn't understand the difference between some Arabs bomb crap, almost as many as those that get bombed themselves, and Arabs have to live in open sewage. Ooh, what's this? Sorry, I'll just push that aside. It would be like saying the Jews enjoyed being in Auschwitz, Ben. Stop holding on to that stupid ideology. Most Jews nowadays are socially liberal and sick and tired of you holding on to the same BS ideology. It's that ideology that got your ancestors killed, not the idea you should call a transgendered people by whatever the name they prefer as a notion of politeness. It's the neo-colonial attitude of Bush, not that I'm completely against interventionism, that's reminiscent of Hitler, not the concept that black people face zero discrimination in modern-day society. I almost feel like you're too smart to believe what you preach. You went to Harvard, for God's sake. I'm only half your age and I can see through your BS. Drop the act. You're not that different to the alt-right that attacks you. They're always attacking one another. It's not something that you need to try and claim you're the antithesis of because. The only reason you get away with such shit is because half the claims you make are subjective, but you say them with confidence and a smug expression, so somehow you're above all that. I'm out. This won't be the last video I'm making on this guy, oh no. This is only the start of it. I do get higher motivations for video making when my videos actually get views though, so if you like this, maybe post it on Facebook or send it to a friend or whatever, that would be great. And while you're at it, join my Discord. It's slowly growing and we have a discussion channel for Elsagate, the Mandela effect, as well as politics in general, so you can have a go there. Links are in the description and comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, favorite, share, and subscribe. Until next time. Adios, mis amigos.